Hey everyone, me Kevin here. So last week I interviewed Vlad, the CEO of Robinhood, also known as the stock market impaler per Elon Musk. And since then I have been seriously considering leaving Robinhood. And in this video I want to address exactly that. The problems, the pros, the cons, and everything else involved. I do want to start by referencing a part of the interview that I had with Vlad, CEO of Robinhood. I also want to disclaim that, yeah, I did make some mistakes in that interview. Unfortunately, I had my interview notes on the other side of where my camera was, which kind of made it look like I wasn't paying attention when, in fact, I was taking notes on what he was saying to ask follow-up questions. I was also only given 15 to 20 minutes max, which I ended up stretching to 23 minutes, but it still felt like a rush. It still felt like I had to interrupt to make sure I got in as many questions as possible to try to get to the bottom of what was going on. And I was the first person on YouTube doing an interview with Robinhood, so it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, crap, it kind of sucks to be first because you have no idea what it's going to be like. But I bit the bullet, and I want to start with this particular comment here. That to me is a little bit of an indicator. It's a tell when it comes to Robinhood. I'm going to talk about leaving Robinhood. Let's go ahead and start with this right here. Here we go. So let me ask you this. If Apple CEO Tim Cook came to you and said, hey, here's 10 bill on January 28th. It's, you wake up at 3:30 in the morning, and I want you to speak to that a little bit too. But let's say, you wake up 3:30 in the morning, Tim Cook is like, hey, I got a credit facility here for you for 10 bill. Would you have had to restrict any trades?
So if we had $10 billion, the question is if we had $10 billion the morning of Thursday,
yep,
an extra $10 billion in our bank account. Yeah, yep. we would have been totally fine in that case.
That to me was a big tell. A big tell in terms of what happened at Robinhood. Money. A lack of money, right? And this led to a lot of speculation and concerns that, oh my God, is Robinhood not solvent? And it wasn't really until I put my head to this that I could really understand this situation a little bit more. And I also asked some more questions off camera that I want to talk about. So first of all, having started up many companies, I know that capital is so important, having cash. If you have too much cash, you're not being efficient because you should be spending that cash on investing in the business. If you have too little cash, you could run into solvency issues. But you have to kind of balance that out based on what your risks are. Let's say I have a construction company and tomorrow there's a massive earthquake that causes $10 million worth of damage. Am I supposed to have $10 million sitting around in a bank account? Probably, in that case, yeah. But that could be like a 1 in a million chance of happening, right? But instead, I'd rather plan for the 999,999 times that I don't have to worry about having 10 mil just sitting around like crazy, right? I'd rather use that money and invest. And I'm sure if I were Robinhood and I had 10 bill just sitting around, my venture capitalists who are funding the company would be like, dude, what the hell are you doing with all that money sitting around? And so I asked Vlad off camera, how rare was what came up? We've already heard all the theories that there's this crazy spreadsheet that the NSCC required because of, volume at risk. And if you have too much volume at risk, you need to have more deposits on hand because of the 2-day clearing process, blah, 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 Dodd-Frank this, SEC rules that, blah. Fancy spreadsheet, bottom line, right? But we know a couple things. We know if they had more cash, this wouldn't have been a problem. But it's also a very rare event, and the way that Vlad explained this, which helped me a lot when I was thinking about the situation, had to do with statistics. Now, I did not do very well at statistics when I went to college for economics and political science at UCLA. Did not do very well at all, but I do remember some basics. And maybe I only remember them because I've refreshed my memory. But there's something known as sigma in statistics. And if the middle line there, the middle sort of U thing there, mu or whatever it's called, is, the most likely outcome of something, you get this sort of bell curve that says things become less common, less likely to happen on the outskirts. So let's say the middle is Robinhood needs $200 million sitting around. Okay. And then maybe to the 1 sigma to the left and right, they need $400 million sitting around. Then you get to that 3 sigma, they need $600 million sitting around. And so for 99.9% of cases, they're covered. They've got enough money for any kind of crazy situation that's going to come up. Well, Vlad told me off camera that Goldman Sachs estimated what happened at a 5 sigma event. Now, I know that's much more rare than 3 sigma, and this like exponentially declines, so it's like a logarithmic decline, right? And when I look at what 1 in 5 sigma is, this is what I get on Google. Remember, I didn't do well in stats, so I got to use Google here. When physicists announce they have a 5 sigma result, that means there is a 1 in 3.5 million chance of that outcome. 1 in 3.5 million chance that they would have had to have as much money sitting around as they needed on the day of January 28th, the disaster day. And so when I put those two things together, like, okay, if you had 10 bill, you wouldn't have had the problem, but that would have meant that you were preparing for a 1 in 3.5 million chance event happening. That's crazy. Now, who knows? Maybe there was some hedge fund manipulation going on that changed the algorithm of the formula. Maybe they're all sleeping with each other. I don't know. But just putting these two things together, I'm like, damn, that does sound like I could sympathize with that. I can't empathize because I've never been in that situation. But if that's really what happened, that's pretty crappy. Now, that didn't stop me from thinking about, okay, well, what if you leave Robinhood anyway? Because right now, we got some problems at Robinhood, and, it makes you a little concerned. So I got to thinking about leaving Robinhood, and that's what we're going to talk about now. So I want to catch you up on sort of the statistics of what happened based on what I heard here. Okay, we're going to assume those are correct. And now the leaving Robinhood part. So despite this, my motivation to leave Robinhood kind of softened because I'm like, that does sound like a pretty crappy event, but, I'm still pissed. Still wanted my tendies from GameStop, right? We still had the movement stalled by what happened. It's very frustrating. A lot of people lost money. So I got to thinking, okay, well, what happens if you leave? Okay, well, if you have margin outstanding on your account at Robinhood, I've learned you can't brokerage transfer your account. So this means you have to pay off your margin first. Then you can brokerage transfer. This is inconvenient at best because you can only transfer $50K at a time to Robinhood if you've got $50K at a time, and it takes time for this to transfer. You don't always get instant transfers back to back, and you got to actually, worst case scenario, have the money, and if you don't have the money, then you can't cover your margin. You're stuck. Big problem number one if you want to leave Robinhood, Ed. Well, I use a little bit of margin, okay? The second problem with leaving Robinhood is you have to transfer to a platform that definitely takes options. So 3 months ago, I actually did a brokerage transfer away from Robinhood, not because I wanted to leave Robinhood, and in fact, I wanted to come right back to Robinhood, but it was solely to open up an exclusive relationship with JP Morgan's private bank. And basically, if you have $10 million under management with JP Morgan, I just have it in the stocks that I pick over with them, you get the $10 million credit card. I've got a video on that, and basically, because I've been inside for like a year and a half, it feels like. Actually, it's about a year-ish that I've been inside. I get to just do this with the credit card. Yeah, that's it. So all this brokerage transferring for an annoying, loud credit card. But anyway, during my brokerage transfer, I found out that when I was transferring money to JP Morgan, I was told, oh yeah, we just transferred all of your money to Chase, like all your stocks, but we left all your options there. And I'm like, yo, what the hell? You just locked my Robinhood account for 2 weeks, while at the same time, you only partially transferred stuff over, so you half did the job, and my Chase account was locked while the transfer was going on. So I literally had these 2 platforms I could do nothing with, and now you half did the job. And they're like, yeah, sorry. So I had to reach out to Robinhood customer service, unlock my account again, and so here I am back with my Robinhood margin account that I actually never brokerage transferred because I kind of got stuck at Robinhood. And now I've transferred money to Webull as well, and I wanted to come back to Robinhood, and I've transferred money to M1 Finance, and I'll tell you, anytime I brokerage transfer money, it's complicated. It's really annoying because both of my accounts get frozen for days. It takes time, and I imagine now it's probably even worse because so many people are brokerage transferring. Like, it's supposed to be fast, quick, and easy, 3 days done. I don't think I like that anymore right now. Like, anytime I've done it, it's been a headache. But the third problem I also had is I kind of like the fact that I have Webull, M1 Finance, Robinhood, JP Morgan, and TD Ameritrade, and Fidelity. So that way, if there's a failure at one, my money is spread out. And, there are only SIP seed limits that insure your money up to $500,000. So I don't like having all my money at one place just in case there is an institutional failure. It's nice to kind of butter out my money a little bit. Just so worst case scenario, there's an apocalypse or something like that, I still got money somewhere. The other issue, this is just issue number 4, the issues keep going. Some brokerages, like you go to TD Ameritrade with your options or Fidelity, they sometimes charge you fees on the options trade. So then I got to go to Webull, but Webull's a little bit more of a complicated platform where the first time I traded options on Webull, I thought I was buying a call and I accidentally bought a put. Now, fortunately, I was able to reverse that. I sold and then rebought and did it all correctly. But yeah, I mean, there's a learning curve. So like when I put all of these issues together, along with the slight benefit of the doubt given Robinhood, I'm like, man, just the thought of brokerage transferring is exhausting right now. On top of that, I'm trying to open an account at Coinbase, and I've been trying to link my bank account with Coinbase for like 2 weeks now, and I get my text message verification, and I link the account, and it's like, your bank account will be linked in 30 seconds. And then I get nothing. Like my bank account just never links. So I can never buy crypto on Coinbase, even though I've been wanting to buy it because Coinbase just isn't working with my bank for some reason. So I'm like, fine, I'll just wire money in. And then they're like, oh, well, there's a $25 incoming wire fee. And I'm like, dude, I signed up using a link to get $10 off at Coinbase. You think I'm gonna pay a $25 wire fee to fund my account? You're nuts. So, and I get free wires at my bank, which you should ask your bank to get free wires. They're doing it a lot now because of COVID. They want less people coming into the branches. But it kind of brings me full circle. I'm like, oh, like this is so like complicated, right? And look, I'm gonna pull up my Robinhood here. Robinhood, I have to say, it's done me well in some sense because, I mean, look at my options, right? This is on total return for my options, and the options I bought here have done really well. The Tesla's is obviously printing 10Ds, the Lemonade's printing 10Ds, the Enphase is printing small 10Ds, little chicken nuggets. My GM washes out my Domino's fail over here, 5K and 5K. But we're printing some 10Ds over here on these options, and I really like these. These are all options, by the way, I pitched to my course members when I bought them. Which you can use coupon code HODL to join the stock and psychology of money course. Actually, any of the courses or bundles the coupon code applies for. But anyway, and I will say a lot of people get pissed when I say this, but yeah, I've got my Bitcoin in here too. I got my 9 Bitcoin in here because, again, of that Coinbase problem, so I got my 9 Bitcoin in here. And that's done pretty well too. I mean, I got to thank Elon Musk for part of that. But, like, when it comes to the thought of leaving Robinhood, I put all of this information we have, the conspiracies, the what probably happened, like what's most likely that happened, this 3 sigma or 5 sigma event circumstance that came up. I put all this stuff together and I'm like, whew, this is stressful and overwhelming. And then I put that on top of, okay, well, where am I going to transfer it to? Now I'm concentrating my wealth into less SIPC protection. Now I potentially have more complicated options trades. I got to track everything down again. I'm going to freeze my accounts at both ends for potentially a week to 2 weeks because it's a slow process. Taking deep breaths because I literally just have to relax a little bit because it's just stressful to think about. And so, look, maybe, and I want to know from you because I want to have a dialogue about this, okay? My video here is not to try to convince you not to leave Robinhood. But this video on leaving Robinhood is why I have not left Robinhood. It's all of the things that I described here. I'm not going to re-summarize them. But I want to know, what do you think? Is my decision reasonable based on putting together the conversation with Vlad and the benefit of the doubt and all the problems that I discussed? Is that reasonable? Or should we be sticking it to Robinhood anyway because people lost money because, the momentum on the Peak Media and the momentum on GameStop died on January 28th, which was my birthday, which was a disaster. That's what I got to know from you. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I sincerely want to know what you think. You can also join my free Discord by going to metkevin.com/discord. It's also linked in the description down below. Let me know what you think. Am I doing the right thing? Am I making a mistake? Should I be leaving? Where should I be going? Where are you? Tell me what you think. I'm open to your comments. I appreciate you. If you found this video helpful, consider sharing and subscribing. And folks, we'll see you in the next one.